Hi everyone, welcome back to another video from me, the Wedding DJ Mentor. So in today's video, this is where we really start earning our money now as a professional wedding DJ, and that is our workflow on the actual night. So what do we do on the night to be a professional wedding DJ? So section one then. So background music to the cake cutting. We've already done our setup. We've already spoken about that, being early, being professional, making sure it all looks great and everything, making sure you're dressed well. So as soon as we start playing, as soon as we press play on our first track, hopefully a few minutes before the time that we said we would start. If we start at 7, if you're playing music by 5 to 7, then that's a good little tick in your box. So we're going to keep it social early on. We're going to keep it slightly elevated music. We're going to keep it at a comfortable volume that people can talk in. They can hear it, but they can still talk at a normal level. You don't want anyone having to elevate their voices at the beginning, because this is the social part where people are still mingling at the beginning, and you might have the evening guests turning up when you're starting. So we need comfortable, familiar tracks. I used to play a lot of newer stuff at this point, and then stuff from the previous 20 years, you know, sort of singer-songwritery kind of things like that. But then it's up to you, you know who you're playing to. So we're creating the atmosphere here. So our lights are sort of organized, but they're low, they're not flashing, they're not moving, or if they're moving very slowly. So we're not trying to push the dance floor here. Not many people are going to dance as soon as you start at the beginning. So we're just sort of introducing the idea of us at this point. This period is about us being calm, organized, in control, and just setting the scene for the night. So the cake cutting and the first dance then. So this is our first big pressure moment of the evening. Don't leave the logistics to the couple. They shouldn't be mithering, rounding people up, because a lot of them are very nervous at this point. So they shouldn't be having to go outside to try and find Uncle Dave's who's having a cigarette outside. They shouldn't be at the bar rounding people up. If you can see that they're having to do that, go over, take it off their plate. It should be the wedding planner's job to do that, but a lot of the time they're busy doing other things. So if you can organise a little bit, that would be good. If the venue handles it, great, but often they don't. So this is where we would step in as a professional. So let's go through the process then. Sort of 15 minutes out, we're going to play a long track. Try and find one that's like 5 or 6 minutes long. 10 minutes out, we're going to leave the booth. We're going to go outside. We're going to round everybody up. We're going to approach people directly, say, hi, I'm the DJ. Just let you know the first dance is in about 5 minutes, so we're just getting everybody together, and then everyone finishes their cigarette and starts moving back in then. Once most people are within earshot, that's when we get on the mic then and announce the cake cutting, and yeah, invite everybody around to see that. I didn't used to play any music at the cake cutting, so don't worry about playing any music. It's perfectly normal for that to not have any music. You can do a countdown to the cake cutting if you feel it's necessary. It's a little bit cheesy. I never used to do it. People can sort of organise it themselves, or you can start a countdown, go 5 or 3, 2, and then let the crowd take over. So whilst the cake is being cleared away off the dance floor, go to the couple and position them on the edge of the dance floor and confirm that they're ready. Have the first dance and your next song queued up before you've done all of this. So important note on the names then, confirm the surnames in advance, ideally in your pre-wedding emails and conversation, but always check on the day, because I've had it change on the day and they forgot to tell me. Just as you're sort of gathering them, say, oh, we still announcing you as the new Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and that gives them an opportunity then to correct you if you're wrong. This may be the first time they've heard themselves referred to as that, especially sort of in a public setting like that. So it matters quite a lot. This is quite a key moment of the night. Always pre-listen to the first dance as well. Don't just assume that it's downloaded okay. Make sure it's the correct version, and do listen to it from start to finish. Make sure it loads into your player properly. If I've downloaded from different sources, sometimes it can be a bit corrupt, or it doesn't really work very well. So the announcement then. I always used to get nervous of the announcement. It's quite a big moment of the night, and it can be quite a scary one, to be fair. So I would always write down what I'm going to say word for word on a piece of paper or on my notes app on my phone, just so you don't have a brain fart mid-sentence and forget the names, which I have done, and it was terrifying. Luckily, I styled it out by sort of riling up the crowd, so there was rapturous applause by the time I actually said their names, but it was a scary moment, so I've never made that mistake again. So yeah, make sure you've got what you're going to say written down. So how to deliver it then? So we want to check our mic levels before we do this, so it's not too quiet, it's not too loud, you don't get any feedback. These are key points to do pre-checks and pre-sound checks. So in a booming, loud, clear voice, so the crowd can hear you properly, what I used to say was, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the dance floor for the very first time, the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Jones. And the way that you say it sort of gets everyone sort of clapping and everything. And then as you're saying their surname, you hit play on their first dance and you hit the button on your DMX controller to start your first dance light, pre-programmed light show. It shouldn't be flashy blue lights. It should be sort of white, slow, symmetrical, and classy. If you can take photos while they're having their first dance without interfering with the professional, then do it. It's a bit cheeky, but I always used to do it. Never got me in any trouble, but I used to do it in a way that the proper photographer, the professional photographer, couldn't see me. So if they were just slightly to the side of me and they were shooting the same direction, I'd take some basically over their shoulder. But if they were round the other side shooting towards me, I would just stand there and, in my suit and try and not look awkward, even though it was pretty awkward. But yeah, don't be in the background with your camera like that, because that will not go down well. So we've done the first dance. After the first dance, give them another round of applause. Give it up for Mr. and Mrs. Jones, ladies and gentlemen. There'll be another round of applause, and then we're going to go into something upbeat then. I used to play, I don't know, something like Uptown Funk, Shut Up and Dance, Crazy in Love, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, one of these sort of big tunes that everybody knows, just to get the dance floor full. And the only reason that I did that is so the photographer can get some good sort of action shots of the dance floor, because the day photographer, like we said before, will be gone. The second that second track ends, they're out of there. So keep it going if they want to dance. More often than not, you'll play 2, 3, 4 tunes, and then it'll start to fade off as the sort of day guests go back to mingling and go back to having a few drinks and everything. That's normal, so don't force it. Don't keep the music loud. If it does fade off, just dim your lights again, put them on a slow chase, and reset for the evening. Then just play sort of louder, a bit more upbeat background music. So announcing the food then. So this is another sort of punctuation mark in the evening. So when the venue confirms the food is ready, announce it clearly, slowly, and tell them where it is, and invite everybody to help themselves. So quieten down the music, get on the mic. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And then that sort of gets everyone's attention. Just to let you know, the food is now ready through in the bar area. Please all go and help yourselves, and we'll get started soon afterwards. So that tells them where it is. They can all go and get a plateful. And then I sort of, if it was at sort of 8:30, at 9:15, about 45 minutes, that's when I give them 45 minutes to get the excuse me, get the evening going again. So it's go time at this point. So I'm going to introduce myself at this point. Don't do this too early. Up until now, everything has been about the couple. But now we're going to turn the music up. We're going to get the lights on 100%. And we've signaled that change. We're going to drop the house lights. And now it's party time. So we get on the mic. I would loop a crowd pleaser, whatever you think is going to be relevant for the day. It's going to change wedding to wedding, so I'm not going to tell you what to play. But I would loop that intro. Again, not going to teach you how to loop. And get that intro looping, and then get on the mic. Slow, controlled, powerful voice. Good evening, everybody. I'm Steve O'D. I hope I find you in good spirits tonight. I'm open to requests right up until we finish tonight at 12 o'clock. Please come up and say hello. So I've introduced myself. They know my name, they know I'm approachable, they feel comfortable coming over, and they know what time is the expected finish time. Requests can take the night somewhere brilliant and unexpected. A lot of DJs get a bit awkward when being asked for requests because they think, they know best, which a lot of the time you do know best. But I've had requests take me in a completely different direction that really, really worked for that crowd. So trust your gut. A request is a request. It's not an order. So do trust your gut. If you feel like it's going to be a dud, or you just feel it in your gut that it's going to be rubbish, don't play it, essentially. But yeah, especially if it's on the do not play list that your couple gave you, don't ever play anything. Doesn't matter if it's the mother of the bride, it's on the do not play list for a reason. And unless the bride comes to you and says it's okay to play it, play it. That would be the only circumstance that I would play something on the do not play. But even then, I would try and avoid it as best possible because they've told me beforehand and I know they don't want it really. And again, I'm trying to protect their atmosphere. So we're starting the party now. Basically, I always used to start early for a couple of reasons. I would start, older is what I mean. I would start with sort of Motown, 60s, 70s, that sort of thing. Judge the age of the crowd. I want Nana and Grandad. I want all the older aunties and uncles and the older members of the congregation on the floor early. So a couple of reasons. The older guests are there and they deserve their moment. The younger guests also know all of those tracks as well. So it gives everybody a good chance to get on and have a dance with the older generation. Yeah, it gives the grandparents a chance to dance with the couple before they go home, because they will leave early, usually about sort of 10, half 10. The older members of the congregation are starting to fade off. And then that leaves us with a younger group towards the end that we can play, do more of what the bride and groom want towards the end. But yeah, when the grandparents are on the floor, perfect photo opportunity. Don't miss out those photo opportunities. Play, a Motown tune or whatever, and then get out and take some pictures of the bride and groom dancing with the grandparents. And, that'll be a treasured memory. Those images one day, will be treasured, and you're not just documenting a party, you're capturing and recording family history there. So we build through the eras, have a deliberate structure. Don't be jumping from genre to genre, from era to era, because it tends to clear the floor. I see a lot of DJs doing it, and it's always been strange to me. I've always started early. I'll play a block of Motown, then I'll move into the sort of 70s, then early 80s soul, move through the 80s sort of pop, into 80s sort of band music, bit of rock maybe, depending on the crowd again. Into the 90s indie. There's loads of great 90s hits, maybe into the 90s dance if that's what they wanted, into the 90s trance, then into the newer stuff, and then hopefully a big sort of party towards the end. I would always start old to new because it's the younger people that are left at the end of the night. So we're going to rotate the demographic. That rotates the demographics fairly. It lets the older guests leave feeling included, and it builds that energy naturally. And, as you're going through the newer stuff, it's a cue for the older people to leave because they want to leave. If the couple want dance music the last hour, we can go in hard now. By then, the floor is their core group of friends. Say the older members of the congregation have gone, and that's lean into what they love in that sort of last hour. But we're going to save a 20-minute window at the end, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But photo awareness during this peak time. So busy dance floor, take photos. If it's a bit dead, don't. Simple as that. And your album will look great at the end. If it's a bit sparse and there's only 4 or 5 people on the dance floor, don't take any photos then. Wait until it's busy again. And when it is busy, use that opportunity to take a lot, because sometimes it doesn't come back even with the best of intentions. Big sing-along moments, take photos. Arms around each other on a chorus. That's an emotional sort of memory point that they'll remember from the night. Capture that moment. The last hour is usually their nearest and dearest. Take as many as you can. Those are the photos that end up framed and cover shots on their social medias. Shoot stealthily so the moments are genuine. Take several shots, 2 or 3. 2 out of the 3 will have eyes closed. It'll have a hand across the bride's face. They'll be pulling a weird face. It'll be an unflattering angle, but hopefully one or two of the 3 shots, click, 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 the 3 shots of the same scene will be usable. And even if you're not a great photographer, if you take 3 and your camera's set up even nearly right, you're gonna get some great photos by accident even. So you don't need to be a super professional photographer. We just need to learn how to set up our camera, which we've done in previous episodes, and you're going to get those great shots and those memorable moments just by fluke, if I'm being honest. Final 20 minutes then. Very important, this final 20 minutes, because this is where we maybe we've sort of concentrated on the bride and group and the bridal party and the sort of uni mates and the school mates at the end, but now this is where we're going to bring the whole congregation back together, and we're going to have a few songs at the end where everybody's on the dance floor together. So we need big sing-along tracks for this. Nothing super cheesy, but if it's a Manchester crowd, anything Oasis, you know, the Don't Look Back in Anger or whatever will do wonderful here. If they're a bit of an older crowd, something from the Beatles maybe. If they're a younger crowd, I don't know, a Taylor Swift song or something like that. It'll be different at every wedding, and you've got to figure that out based on the information that you've got on the couple. Those shared vocal moments, they create a unified dance floor, an emotional lift, and a sense of closure on the night. So we finish with a bang. So the final sequence then, with 10 minutes to go, announce the final song. So we've got a 10-minute window now. They think it's the last one. Nobody's checking their watch at this point. Thank them, say your name, and finish strong with a big tune. Choose your closer based on the crowd in front of you. It's not a formula. The one that used to work well for me as a sort of finisher was, if we've done a few slow ones, sing-along ones, a good finisher for me was Black Eyed Peas. I Got a Feeling, something like that. Again, it's old enough that the older people know it, and it's new enough that the younger people still like it. So that used to be quite a good one. That was probably one that I played the most, but it changed every time. It could have been a big trance tune. It could have been a huge indie tune like Chelsea Dagger or something like that. You choose, make it big, and then finish at 11:55. But have another one chambered. Have another big song chambered for the very last one. So group photo moment at 11:55. After what you've announced as the last song, set your lights to static. We need our lights controlled from behind the booth. Let's have a group photo, everybody. Everybody look this way. They're going to be pretty drunk. It's a bit like herding cats at this point, but we can get them all together. And then we keep talking. Yes, yes, yes. Look this way. Look to the DJ booth. Click, 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 click. Get as many as you can. And then as the energy starts to die, as people stop applauding and as people start sort of, turning away, then that's when we hit our high energy track and go, this is really the last one now. Let's make it a big one. Turn it up really loud. Turn it up as loud as your PA system can go within reason. Get the bass up. Get your lights on 100%. And let's really have a big moment to finish on. That creates a second peak. The crowd love it. And everyone goes home on a massive high then. So the true close then, after that final track ends, black out your lights. Pre-arrange with the venue to have the house lights turned up on 12 o'clock and finish bang on time. 11:59 is absolutely perfect. 12 o'clock, don't be going to 12:03, 12:05, 12:10, 12:15, even if the crowd wants it. That's why you've got to do these second peaks. You've got to give them the last song 10 minutes out and then the very last song 5 minutes out. In that 10 minutes, you might even be able to fit 3 in, but be clear. And then once that last one plays, doesn't matter what anyone says, just say, I'm really sorry. If anyone approaches you after, just say, I'm really sorry. The venue's license is 12 o'clock and they made it very clear that I have to finish at 12. And then that keeps you in the good books of the venue, because plenty DJs go over the allotted time and the licensing hours. And that can get the venue into a lot of trouble, especially if it starts pushing past 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that'll start generating complaints. And there's no way that venue's going to be recommending you if you're the type of DJ that doesn't respect those laws. Thank them sincerely. I always used to thank them at the end. Wish them a safe journey after the last song. Say your name clearly one more time and then say goodnight. Now the applause is for you. Yeah? Take a second, enjoy it, look up. Don't need to take any photos. You've done your job. You've managed the arc of the night. It's been a great night. The bride and groom are pleased as punch. Everyone goes home happy. Everyone goes home talking about what a wonderful night they had. And you've got a camera full of amazing pictures. And then that's the end of the night for you. So yeah, that's basically it, really. That's the workflow of a night. Obviously, go over and say thank you to the bride and groom and wish them well, and tell them that you'll be in touch when their photos are ready. And that is basically it, guys. You've absolutely nailed it. Pack away quickly and get out the venue, because the staff will be very grateful. The quicker you can leave, the more grateful the staff will be. They've had a long day too. And that is basically the workflow of a successful night as a wedding DJ. But you do have to hit those beats. They're always there. The times might change, the durations might change, the music is definitely going to change, but the beats are there, and we need to hit that, and we need to control that night as a professional. And if you do that, you'll have a successful wedding DJ career. And it's pretty easy to do. Once you sort of get in the rhythm of how the night works, it's really easy. So that's basically it from me on talking about the flow of a night for a wedding DJ. So if you've enjoyed this video, or you've made it to the end even, kudos to you. Please do subscribe. It really, really helps the channel. Please do like this video and drop any comments below. If you've got anything that you want to ask, I'll do my best to answer for you. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks, everybody. I've been Steve D, the Wedding DJ Mentor. Bye.